Welcome to the another session of English class. I'm sure you might have gone to the first two parts of the chapter, The Fun They Had, written by Isaac Asimov from the book Beehive for class 9. Did you jot down the important points of the first two parts? Okay, let me go through those important points. We have seen in the chapter that this is something written about the future. Do you remember the year? Yes, the year was 2157. So who are the main characters of the story? Margie and Tommy. I hope you remember their names. So Margie was writing in her diary. What was she writing? That Tommy got a book. And what was that book? Yes, a real book. See, he got a book and that was a real book. And what was it about? It was on schools of the old days. And the old kind of paper, the book was of old paper. You know, how will the old book look? The paper was yellow and crinkly. The papers were yellow and crinkly and not like the e-books. What do you mean by e-books? Yes. E-books means which is not paper that you get in on the system itself as the electronic books. E-book means electronic books. Tommy and Margie turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly. They both were very curious when they got the real book because they were used to with the e-books. We are learning something about the future strategy of teaching and they were used to with the e-books. And when they got a real book, they were very curious and they were going through those books. They considered such books to be nothing more than a waste. So after reading it, they thought that it was a waste. But the real book, because they were worthless after first reading. That's what they thought. It was worthless after first reading. The book was found from the attic in Tommy's house. Where did they find the book? Where did they find the book? They found the book from the attic. The book was about school, which created curiosity in Margie to know all about the schools. So she was very curious when she came to know that the book was about the schools. So she wanted to know all the facts about the school. And coming to the second part, we saw that Margie hated school. And her school was who? A mechanical teacher who teaches a lot and she was given test after test and she was not interested in such type of studies. He was giving her test after test and she was not doing well. Why she hated school? Because she was getting less marks. And one day what happened? The mechanical teacher was not working properly and a county inspector was called. And he came to repair the mechanical teacher of Margie. Margie expected that he wouldn't know how to repair. Who? The mechanical teacher. But it was repaired and the large and ugly black screen was ready. It was repaired and that was ready soon. Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. She had to do a lot of test papers and homework was given to her. So what happened? She had to complete it and put it in the slot, in the space where it was uploaded. Margie scored less in geography and it was because the level was geared too quick. It was loaded up. So we saw that she was not doing well and that's why she hated school, isn't it? Actually, it was not her mistake. It was because the level of the geography was a little bit geared up. Geared up means into a higher level. It was not according to her age. It was above her age. That's why she was not able to do the geography test properly. But in short, her progress was actually quite satisfactory according to her age and level. She was disappointed as she thought that her mechanical teacher would be taken away. So we saw that her mechanical teacher was had a problem and that's why the county inspector had come. So she thought that her mechanical teacher would be taken away. Why she thought in that way? Because Once, Tommy's mechanical teacher also showed problem, and that was taken away for nearly a month. Just imagine, you also sometimes when you come to school and when you are tired of coming to school, what do you expect? Holidays, isn't it? And you eagerly wait for the holidays, a hartal, or maybe some during the flood days, isn't it? You get holidays, unexpected holidays. So here also, Margie wanted a gap, a break from the studies. So she was very happy when the county inspector came to repair the mechanical teacher, because she thought that it would be taken away. The history teacher had blanked out completely. What was the problem of Tommy's mechanical teacher? The history teacher had blanked. Nothing was, no content was there in history for Tommy. That's why the mechanical teacher was taken away. Margie asked Tommy, why would anyone write about school? Again, she came back to the book. So she was very curious. She wanted to know why people would write about school. It's old kind of school they had centuries ago. Actually, what was it? It was about the school centuries ago. For us, it is about the future. Just imagine something happening in the future. And for them, we were in the past. So we studied in schools, we used books and all. For them, we are the past. Margie was hurt and was confused about the kind of school. So she didn't like the idea very much about the school. So she was confused, like why such school was required. And she read the book over his shoulder and said, anyway, they had a teacher. So she was very happy. Why? Because she had the students even in the past had a teacher. So that was the only happiest thing regarding Margie about the book when she came to know about the school, that those students also had a teacher. So now let's continue with the next part. So what they are doing, they have started reading the book, and Margie is behind Tommy's back reading over him. Reading over him means what? Looking from above his shoulders into the book. Margie asked why the teachers are so weird and that men can't be as smart. So Tommy is explaining about the school, and she came to know that the teachers were human beings. So let's see what she gets the answer regarding it in the chapter. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. So she got the answer. She was happy about the fact that in those days, the students also had a teacher. A teacher was there. So she was happy with the fact. But here she got another answer. What was it? They had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. Here, regular teacher means what? For us, of course, it's a human being. But for them, yes, it was a mechanical teacher, isn't it? So Tommy is explaining it to her. It was not a regular teacher just like we have. It was a man. Who was it? It was a man. A man? Margie was very surprised. She asked, a man? How could a man be a teacher? So it was out of her, it was beyond her understanding. She couldn't accept the fact that a man could be a teacher. Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. So he is explaining it to Margie that this man who is considered as the teacher, he told the boys and the girls, of course, the students of his class, he is the one who is teaching them, instructing them, giving them information, teaching them. All this was done by a man. Man in the sense, human being. It can be a lady teacher or a sir. So, and gave them homework. Not only that, these teachers gave them homework and asked them questions. Not only that, questions were also asked by these teachers. A man isn't smart enough. And Margie couldn't believe that a man could be as smart as a mechanical teacher. Sure, he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. Who is saying that? Yes, Tommy. Tommy is saying that my teacher is as smart. Sorry, my father is as smart as my teacher. His teacher is a mechanical teacher, isn't it? So he is arguing. He's just focusing on the fact that his father knows most of the thing just as his mechanical teacher. He knows almost as much. I betcha. Betcha is a informal way of saying or speaking or saying the word or phrase I bet you. We say I bet you. I don't think so. So she is just showing her disbelief over there that I can't believe. I betcha. I bet you that teachers can't be as smart as our teacher. Then he knows almost as much. So how can the human beings know as much as the mechanical teacher? Margin wasn't prepared to dispute that. She was not that prepared to argue regarding that topic. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. So she just surrendered and she doesn't want to argue regarding that. So she said, I don't want a strange man coming to my house and teaching. Strange man means a person, a stranger. Strange man here means stranger. Someone who is a stranger. He is an unknown person to whom? To Margie. So she's saying that I don't want an unknown person in my house to coming to teach. Tommy screamed with laughter. So he found it very funny when Margie told that I don't want a strange man coming to my house and teaching. So Tommy started laughing. You don't know much. You don't know much about it. Margie, the teachers didn't live in the house. The way you think, they are not living in your house or living in somebody's house. Instead, what? They had a special building and all the kids went there. It's not that they will come and live in a house. Instead, they all had a special building. And all the kids would go to that special building for what? To learn. And all the kids learned the same thing. And all these kids who went to that same building, are they learning the same thing? Sure, if they were the same age. Of course, if they belong to the same age, they learn the same things. But my father says that, Margie's mother said, but my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. So Margie is explaining things what her mother has said. She says what? She says that a teacher has to be adjusted. So she knows only about mechanical teacher, isn't it? And we adjust everything. Just now we saw that Margie's mechanical teacher was adjusted by the county inspector, isn't it? Gearing up, the level gearing up or geared down. So it can be adjusted. So that's what Margie knows. So she says that my mother says that a teacher has to be adjusted according to the mind of a child, of each boy and girl, according to the level of each boy and girl. It teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Not all the kids are taught in the same way. Instead, they are taught differently. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. Yes, it's the same thing, but it was not done in the same way as we do now. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. Who said that? Tommy. Okay, if you find it very funny or if you don't like it, fine, doesn't matter. Don't read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it. So Margie said, no, I didn't say that I didn't like it. Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. She was actually curious to know about those schools, but she found those schools as very funny. They weren't even finished when Margie's mother called. Margie, school. So they were continuously arguing about the things, discussing about the facts, and at that time, what happened? And they didn't finish. Did they finish reading the book? No, they didn't finish reading the book. And at that time, call came. Whose call? Yes, Margie's mother. And what did she say? Margie, school. That means it was school time for her. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now, said Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones? Yes, Margie's mother. And it's probably time for Tommy too. And not only that, I think it's time for Tommy also for the class, for the school. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? So with that we can understand how curious she is, isn't it? So she is asking Tommy, can I read with you or can I read the book along with you after the school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. He walked away whistling. Nonchalantly means with showing, it means he was not that much interested to show the book to Margie. So he said nonchalantly, maybe. He walked away whistling the dusty old book. Dusty old book tucked beneath his arm, kept it under his arm and just moved away. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom. So Margie's mother called and she went. Tommy also went and Margie also went to the room, to the schoolroom, and it was just right next to her bedroom. And the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. Already the system was on and was waiting for her to come. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. So it was every day, same time, no difference. Same time, everything it was fixed except Saturday and Sunday. Just now you have timetable and every day your timetable is fixed and the classes start at the fixed time, isn't it? So same thing, it was always on the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday. Now, because her mother said little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours, maybe they have the option of choosing their time. So they might have chosen that particular time for every day. Why? Because her mother said that little girls learn better if they learned at regular hours. So every day, if the time is fixed and if they learn at that particular regular hours, they will learn better. That's what Margie's mother had told her. The screen was lit up and it said. So when she came and sat, the screen was lit up and it came. What did it say? Today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. So she was going to learn what? Arithmetic. And what was the topic? Yes. What? Fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. So what do you do in mathematics class? Yes. The teacher come and then teacher asks you the homework which was given to you the previous day, and the answers are discussed and any doubts are there, it is cleared, isn't it? So same thing, the mechanical teacher asked her about the homework which was given yesterday, and here what is the difference? Yes, she was asked to insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. A slot is there and in that slot she has to insert the homework which was given to her yesterday. Margie did so with a sigh. So she did it. She was asked and she did it. She was thinking about the old schools, and even while she was doing all these things, where was her thought? Where did her thoughts go? Yes, about the schools which were there in the past. They had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. So this school, she remember having it when she heard the story from her grandfather about his grandfather, isn't it? So she was thinking about those days. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came, laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. So she was imagining all these things. What you do now, that is imagined by Margie. So any child in the future, when they come to know about such schools, then definitely this will be their thoughts, isn't it? What the kids from whole neighborhood coming from the same area and laughing and having fun in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day, just like the same thing what you do now. Now I won't say, because you know where you are at your home in front of your mechanical teacher, isn't it? But till the last academic year, what were you doing? Yes, you were also doing the same thing, and let's hope that we will do the same thing even in the coming days. Don't worry. Now, let's continue. They learned the same thing so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. So, they were together. So, if you have, what do you do when a homework is given to you? When an assignment is given to you? Sometimes you do it, sometimes you forget it. And what do? Yes, you come to the class and do it or copy it from your friends. Isn't it or not? Yes, so that was all fun. So they learned the same things so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. And the teachers were people. That was the wonderful thing. That was the thing she was very much attracted to about the teachers. She was used to with the mechanical teacher, and she was not able to believe that the teachers were people just like them. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen, and at that time she came back to the real world, to the present world in which she was. What was it? The mechanical teacher was flashing. What? When we add fractions 1 by 2 and 1 by 4. So that was flashing on the screen. Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. So she was just imagining how fun it would have been, how much they have enjoyed, and how much they have loved being together. She was thinking about the fun they had. So she couldn't believe that these were the funs they had when the students came together in the same building. So that's how we come to the end of the chapter. Now let's see the differences if in the present school and in the future school. Let's see. Now let's find out the differences. You might be wondering what, right? So we saw the factors which are there in the present school. That means now. And what will be in the future schools. Okay? So let's see the difference. Now, the basic difference between the present, that means according to Margie and Tommy, for them we are the old school, isn't it? So for us this is the present school, and for us what will happen in the future. That is the difference. Okay, that means present school for us, that is the old school for Margie and Tommy, and future school for us, that will be their present school. So did you understand the difference? That means the present and the future for us. So in present school, that means what we are going through, we are reading the real book that is printed on papers which are yellow and crinkly. But what about the future schools? They are learning from the e-book. They have the e-book and they will be on those book, it appears on the screen. Isn't it or not? And that can be changed. It can be moved up and down. Then what about the teachers? The teachers in the present school are real men. They can communicate with each other. They have emotions and not perfectly. That means we have already seen the difference between the mechanical teachers. Teachers can make mistakes, but mechanical teachers, they don't don't do any mistakes. It just gives out whatever they have learned, whatever is put into it. Future schools are robotic, mechanical teacher and giving test after test, no communication, they will just come, no interaction, isn't it? They are no communication, they are large, cold, black, ugly and many things. The screen will be a black and ugly one. Then about the classrooms. The present school classroom, it's actually a building where many students come together and they are taught a lesson, and same things are taught to the students belonging to the same age. But in future school, they are in their own house and they need not leave their home. Okay, and each kid could be taught differently according to their level, and their classes are always on the same time every day. It's fixed. So the classes will be during the same time on the same time. Then what about the homework and test? The thing which you hate most. There are exams, test papers, writing, essay writing, many other things. You just imagine what all things you do in the school. What about the future school? They write them out in computer by pressing the keys and then insert it in the slot. So these are some of the differences which we can find the present school and the future school. Now, can we sum up what we have learned in this chapter? Okay. In the year 2157, the 13-year-old boy Tommy finds an old book. He and Margie, who is 11, find it strange that the words on paper do not move after being read. Okay. Nowadays, they only read stories on the computer screen. You can make the difference. Now, we are also coming to that era, isn't it? You can read stories on the screen, isn't it? On your computer or on your mobile or on your tab. There are different apps by which or through which you can read the books. The book is about school centuries ago. So the book which they found from the attic is about what? It is about the schools which were found centuries ago. And she wrote this in her diary. Who wrote this? Yes, Margie wrote this in her diary. About what? About Tommy finding a new book. And this new book was about what? On the schools of the old days. Margie wants to read more of the book, but first she has to learn with her mechanical teacher whose level is too advanced for her, and she thinks school in those days was much better than today. So when she was failing in geography, we have seen, isn't it? How many tests she had given? All the tests she had failed. Why? Because the level was a little bit advanced for her, above her age, and that's why she was not able to do well. So that made her to think that the school during those days were much better than the schools of the present day. A present day for Margie. Then Margie is very surprised that in the past pupils had a person as a teacher, as a human being, and that all the children of the same age learned the same thing and went to a school building with other children. So she is imagining like it would have been so fun, children coming together from different places, going to the same school building and having fun with other children. Even being in the classroom, she was thinking of the old kind of schools with the kids and the human teachers. She was in the classroom with the mechanical teacher, but her thoughts were somewhere else. She was thinking about the old kind of schools with the kids and the human teachers. That mechanical teacher was on, but Margie was engrossed in thinking of the fun they had in the old days. So even though she was there in front of the mechanical teacher, but she was thinking about those children, those students who were along with the teacher and having fun in those old days. She was only thinking about one thing. What was that? Yes, she was thinking about the fun they had. Who? Yes, the students of those times, the children of those times. Now, what is the message you get from this story? Yeah, the message of the story is that real education is about providing adequate and right environment for learning. The writer warns against the future education system. Yes, this strategy will be the one which will be adopted in our future. Maybe not you. We have started it, isn't it? Maybe the next generation will be the same thing which will be followed as mentioned in the chapter. The writer warns against the future education system which may become completely digital or computerized with zero social interactions. No social interaction. How? What is social interaction? When you meet your friends, then only you have friends, isn't it? Then only the social interaction takes place. But if you are in your own house, how would you come to know your friends? How will the social interaction takes place, isn't it? So there will be zero social interaction and thus may prove fatal to the healthy education system. And when there is lack of social relation or social interaction, that would lead to a unhealthy education system. The title Fun They Had also conveys the message that learning process must be a fun. You should learn through fun and should take place in a healthy and congenial environment. The education should take place in one of the healthy environment where you will be able to learn through fun. So just see the future schools. So this will be our condition in the future. Okay. Now let me give you an activity. Okay. You have to write it and present it in the online session when we have. The question is, compare the book Tommy found with the books he and Margie use. How are the books alike and different? So we have seen that Margie and Tommy got a book, isn't it? So you have to compare the books he and Margie, the book which they got with the book which they are using in their studies. So that's what you have to do. Compare the book Tommy found with the books he and Margie use. How are the books alike and different? So this you have to write it down as an activity. Now, who is the author of this story? Yes, Isaac Asimov. So there are famous quotes. So some few quotes which I liked, I have showed it over here. One is, education is not something you can finish. It's a lifelong process. Then, people who think they know everything are a great annoyance to those of us who do. Another quote is, all you have to do is take a close look at yourself and you will understand everyone else. If you understand yourself, you will be able to understand others. Some of his books, he is a science fiction writer, isn't it? So there are many books. Out of that, 2 I have chosen for you. If you get a chance, go through it. These are the 2 books. One is The Stars Like Dust, and the other one is about the robot visions. I am sure some of you would be interested to read about the robots, isn't it? So please go through it. So with this, I come to the end of the class. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the chapter. Have a great day. Thank you.